Hi there. So today I will be showing you a demo on surface tension. The supplies you'll need for this are a mason jar where it will be covered with a wire mesh. Now I'll give instructions on how to either where you can find to buy the jar covers already cut with a circle, or how to cut them so that it's safe for the kids to handle. I didn't take those precautions here, so it's a bit dangerous around the edges, but when you're working with kids, you're going to want to make sure that's safe. And what you're going to want to do is, I'll again put directions on where you can find mason jars and meshes, but you're going to want to cut the mesh into a circle so that it fits the lid. And you're going to want to get a bunch of different sizes. That way the kids can practice this activity, and they can make conclusions and experiment themselves about the surface tension and how it works. So the force balance between the weight of the water, and you'll see that in a second, and the surface tension, which is the counteracting force to the weight. So some things to help the kids to explore is to get different membrane sizes. And they'll find as the membrane gets too big that it won't be able to withstand the force of gravity. And also some different sizes of jars. So the activity is very simple. Have every kid or every group get one mason jar, and then do this activity outside, because it's going to make a mess, and you'll see that in a second. Have a hose or buckets of water where they can fill their jar. And so I'm right in front of my kitchen sink right now, so I'll do it right here. So you're going to hear the water turn on. And simply you pour it into the top of the jar with the membrane still on it, like that. Okay. So now, sorry about that. Okay, let's get the camera repositioned. So now you have a mason jar full of water. You may want to dump it out a little bit. So I like to have it, I don't know, 3/4 full. That's nice. Sorry. And so you're gonna fill it just like I did into the top membrane. And the other piece of equipment you'll need is a piece of cardboard. So it's a pretty cheap experiment. It's a mason jar, membranes. I'm using the word membrane. It's just a mesh. A wire mesh, and then a piece of cardboard. Now what you're going to do, and show the children how to do this first, but then have them do it. They're scientists, they can figure this out, and they can explore. And so what they're going to do is you're going to flip it over like that, and then what you're going to do is just slide the jar off. So always have it kind of start off on the cardboard, gently slide it off, and then voila. You'll see the water still in there. What you may want to do is you may want to dye the water. That could be fun for the kids. Have it blue or green, and then that way there's a real contrast, and they can see that water is still in the jar. And so what's happening here is that obviously the weight of the water is in the downward direction, but the surface tension force created by the water onto the mesh is what's keeping it up. And so again, have the students try this with different sized jars so that there's different weights with different sized meshes, and then that way they can see, does the area of the mesh, does that make a difference? Does it need to be a tiny mesh? Does it need to be a large mesh? Does it matter with respect to the size? Then the other thing that you're going to want to do, have them empty the water. So again, this is fun to do outside. Tap the bottom and the water will start gushing out. See if it'll close back up. See if once you disturb that surface tension, if it's able to stop. So that's a pretty good one, darn. Sometimes it'll start coming out. Usually it gushes out. I apologize. It starts to do something like that. And this explains, there we go. This explains why when you're camping and you hit the tent in the morning and you feel those dew droplets come in, you know, you were safe all night from the dew droplets, and then as soon as you hit your head, they start coming in and you're like, what's going on? Tents use the same type of technology. It's a very fine mesh, so surface tension keeps the rain out. Okay, well, have the kids play with it. I do this actually for the college students in fluid mechanics, and they're always amazed. I always tease them that their GSI is a witch, so They always laugh, and I tell them I'm never sure if that's a good thing. I hope you enjoy this, and